Because I keep running into cockroaches in my apartment. I have this a fear for insects, and it got triggered by these encounters. So I really had to deal with them. And I found a video from Bashar that said that you need to find out the core belief that causes you to have some negativity in your life. So if you have phobia, find out what you believe the core of this situation and then deal with that. The core belief is hard to find because it's buried deep under loads of more superficial beliefs that would lure you to believe that they are the core, but not yet. But I think for me it's really easy because maybe because I'm a very exposed person to myself. I don't really hide anything from myself. I think there's nothing about me that I don't know already. Like the most biggest weaknesses of myself, I think I know them. My unworthiness, so it's really easy for me to understand why I'm afraid of cockroaches. Because I think about whenever I see a cockroach or an insect, I think about the worst thing. I worry about the worst thing, and that's the same thing I do with everything in my life. In a situation where it's partially unknown, I expect the worst. So I surround myself with fear. And why that? Why do I expect the worst to happen? Because for me, it's because I think that the universe isn't friendly. Why isn't it isn't friendly? Because I think it's gonna punish me. Why I think it's gonna punish me because I think I should be punished somehow for my ugliness, because I find myself really guilty or shameful and ugly in many ways. And in my head, I punish those that I find guilty, ugly in many ways. The whole world is like a big pool of ugliness, and I encounter that every single day, and I have a lot of anger against them, and I want to punish every single one of them. So, in another belief behind this belief, which is I am ugly and I deserve to be punished. That's the belief behind the belief that the world is bad to me. And there's another belief behind I am ugly. It's the belief is I am ugly, and another belief behind this is the ugliness must be punished. The reason why I believe this is because, well, I punish the ugliness, the ugly. I punish it in my head. So, but then why do I punish it? Why do I think that I must punish the ugliness? Oh yeah, then that's a tricky one. Why should I? I believe that I must punish the ugly. Why? Because if I don't punish the ugly, they get away with doing whatever the fuck they do. Right? And as long as I still believe that the ugly needs to be punished, then I will always live with fear because I believe that I am ugly. It's unavoidable because the world I see originates from me. I see all the fucking people doing their fucking things. I see all the ugliness in them, and there's not one bit of ugliness that I see in other people that doesn't exist in me already. That's what I know for sure. Because it's very obvious, I live my life being myself. So then the tricky one is why the ugly needs to be punished is because I think they will get away, and they will. So what would happen if the ugly doesn't get punished and gets away with being ugly? They will keep on being ugly. They hurt me. They hurt the world even more. And if nobody gets punished, the world will become a big ball of ugliness, and nothing good would be there. All the goodness will be killed. And when I think about it, I feel really, really sad. I feel really, really sad. I know when I feel this sad, it means I am believing something that is untrue, because this is very genuine sadness that I experience. It's just very, very authentic sadness, and that this is really telling me that I am thinking about something that is so untrue. There's a separation that I create between as soon as I use the word ugly, I am creating a separation. If there is the ugly, that means there is the beautiful, and there's a separation between them. And only the beautiful deserves to exist and be celebrated, and the ugly doesn't. The ugly needs to be annihilated. And I just said that is not enough. The ugly needs to be punished by its own ugliness, annihilated or not. Which is worse than annihilation, because annihilation is literally nothing. So in my head, I punish ugly people with their own ugliness. If somebody abused someone online, I wish them to be abused the same way. If someone hurts me, I wish them to be hurt the exact same way. And I punish people like a judge. I play a judge in my head, or in the back of my head every day as I go on with my life. I do this all the time. So obviously, this judge in me is literally completely fair. It punishes me just the same. So as long as I'm punishing others, I punish myself just the same. I'm even shaking when I'm saying this because I'm really afraid. I'm so afraid of myself. There's a part of myself that's just so harsh on me. It wouldn't stop using a tone that it thinks I deserve to talk to me, which is really, first, if you ask me to describe it, it's very dismissive. Or if it makes me feel really ugly, it makes me feel like a slave, It makes me feel like I only deserve to be a slave. It makes me feel like I'm so worthless. I'm so low. It's not something, it's not. So, what is the core belief? I feel so undeserving. I feel like I have to attack me in order to be, If I don't attack me, there's no balance there, because I must be attacked. Okay, the belief is I must be attacked. I am ugly. And okay, again, I haven't got behind the belief that why the ugliness must be attacked. If the ugliness must be attacked to cease existing, is that true? That is a very wrong thing. You don't attack. First of all, attacking this behavior, this a word itself is a form of ugliness. If I have to be dual here, if I have to be a dualist here, let's just be consistent. The attacking itself is ugliness. You use ugliness to punish. The word punish is also ugly. You use ugly to ugly the ugly. You get just more ugly. You lock away murderers. You do not decrease the number of murderers in the world. If prison is a solution, then there wouldn't be any crime. The existence of a huge amount of crime and violence in our society suggests that punishment is a complete failure. Well, it might be a way to control, to be to feel in control, you know. It gives you a feeling that you are in control of the crime, but actually, not really. It's just an illusion. So it creates so much fear thinking about a society where there is no punishment system. If you like think about it, it just makes you so scared. You start to think about living in a world, exact the same world, but no more prison, no more police. Oh my god, that sounds just so crazily horrible. You feel so scared if all of a sudden tomorrow all of these were gone. You wouldn't even dare to go out of your door if you live in a country where people are allowed to have guns. I think there would be a lot of shooting. At least that's what you expect. Everybody would be super alert. Even people without guns would really go and buy guns. If there are no locking away anymore. There's so much fear, and you just get so scared. Maybe that's what I think. You know, what would I feel if I look at a online abuser, a troller, and I say to myself, they will get away with this. Nobody will punish them. They will get away with this. What do I feel? I feel first of all, I feel rage. I feel such an urge to punish them, but that is because I believe that they should be punished. My rage comes from the belief that they must be punished. That's why I feel rage. If I don't believe that they should be punished, then I wouldn't feel rage. I wouldn't be enraged. And I was brought up conditioned with the punishment system is deeply ingrained in the deepest part of me that the ugly must be punished. That's the same for everybody living in this society, literally. You don't go into, you really can't find anybody that doesn't believe so genuinely. Even if, you know, me for a long time, as long as I've been a spiritual, I've been telling myself that you should use love to heal everything. But deep inside me, there's this big thing that I've been carrying since I was born, you know. It says the opposite, you know. And I do the opposite too, even if I believe intellectually the other way. I do what I believe that you should use love to heal violence, but what I do is I use violence to attack violence, to kill violence, which doesn't really work at all, you know. That is so wrong. So you shouldn't punish the ugly. But when I say this, what I feel like I'm talking for myself, you know, this voice in me saying, you are saying that just because you want to get away with your own ugliness. That's what I feel inside of me. So there's something else that I'm not getting. I am ugly, is that true? You know, I don't even feel like I deserve to ask the question because it's so obvious that I am ugly. What makes me ugly then? Well, I am physically ugly. And I do things that are disgusting. I'm not hygienic enough. I do very disgusting things. For example, I don't use the toilet at night. I use a little bottle to catch my piss. And I find that something there is shameful. And I pick up my nose too often. And I don't clean my fingers. That's so unacceptable. That is so incredibly ugly. And my skin is so dirty, it's filled with acne. And it's so oily. And I look so ugly. I look awful. And what else? I am such an angry person. I am so angry. And I am too violent, you know. I think about killing this, killing that. And plus I am a hypocritic, how do you pronounce it? A fake person. On the one hand, I love the animals. On the other hand, I eat animal products. But this is not the most important part. This is not the most ashamed part. Let me find the most ashamed part. Is heavily located on my own body shaming and the things I do that I think are extremely embarrassing and awkward. Embarrassment is a major emotion that I feel, and I think it's a very prominent and neglectable or easily neglected emotion. I do disgusting things. For example, I play with my pubic hair. Well, when you say that out loud, it doesn't sound that terrible, but when I look at myself doing the shit I do, I just feel it's so ugly. I'm such an unbearably ugly person because my body looks so incredibly ugly, or I look too flat, for example. And the worst of all is my belly has this layer of fat, and because I'm flat, that makes my belly look even more unbearable. The pictures are so terrible. I look so ugly in pictures. Look at their people, they look so pretty. And yeah, my body looks so terrible from the side. And mine sometimes look good from the front, but from the side and night before bed, my belly looks like it's a balloon. And because I'm flat, that makes it look a lot worse. And didn't realize that actually most of my shame is located here on a very superficial level. But they as superficial as they sound, they feel very, very validated in me. It's not like I'm a murderer, I'm a rapist, or I actually do things that are terrible. It's just all about my body and the things I do around it. Makes me feel very, very ugly. It's a very I'm very glad to know that it's a very superficial level of ugliness. And based on this, I judge other people. Again, the judge in me is super fair. It doesn't judge just me or other people. It judges everybody. So I judge everybody around me the same way I judge my own body. If I look at other people picking up their nose, I think that's extremely disgusting. Or if I hear about people, if for example, I've never seen this, but if I saw somebody talking about playing with their pubic hair when they're alone, I would just find so incredibly embarrassing. I would plug it because it would just shed some hair every now and then, like all body hair is shedding because pubic hair, I can't stand hair, so to keep my room clean, I just like to pluck it, like just to make it fall faster and more concentrated so it doesn't fall all around the room as I walk around. I would just not really play with it, I'm just actually trying to clean the about to fall hairs before they actually spontaneously fall, so that I have a chance to collect all of them and throw them all together. But I find this processing very, very shameful because the pubic area of your body is considered, at least in my society, I think in the all around the world, the dirtiest part of you. That's why people use words such as dickhead or asshole or pussy in a very, actually in the English language is much less negatively strong, or less strongly negative. In my own language, in my own culture, these words are extremely strong. The dirtiest words you use. When you're most angry, you use these words, or the most vulgar language, most vulgar part of the language is pussy, dick. We don't. Actually, asshole is much less, much less vulgar than pussy and dick in my culture. So, a dirty pussy is actually one of the worst insults you can give to a person. You say to a person, "You're a fucking dirty pussy." That's very, very vulgar. But when said in English, it's much less. It's much lighter. It's not even if it makes you laugh because it's nothing heavy. Well, maybe because I don't know, because the English countries are English-speaking countries much more acceptable of the sexuality of humanity, but in my culture it's not. It's different. Everything is different. So, playing with my pubic hair is just really, really dirty thing to do, and especially I don't wash my hands after doing it because, I do everything I do based on a logical level. My pubic hair isn't dirty because it's washed every single day, and because it's in the front of my body. It's just like the hair, you play with your hair, you don't wash your hands afterwards unless your hair is very, very dirty. Actually, I think the hair on my head is much more dirty than my pubic hair, which is on the front of my body. And like I said, it's washed every day, but actually it's not that clean, to be fair. It's, because I not only played the front part of it, also the bottom part of it. Because I gotta do it full, because every part of the hair would fall. I have to really pluck every part to make sure that there's no more that I missed, to make sure that I cover every part of it. So I would play the dirtier part, which is near my asshole. Sometimes it's dirty, but again, because I think a part of me thinks that, a more conscious part of me thinks that it's not dirty because it's my sexual organ. Well, I don't know, like a part of me is really acceptable of the sexual part of my body, but I think this unconscious part, which is the part that's kind of closer to the collective unconsciousness, which brought me up, the culture that brought me up, the family, the society that I lived in for the first 20 years of my life, or the first 19 years of my life, kind of really soaked in it, and that part of me maybe is just really disgusted by this thing that I do, or I don't know, maybe it's just not that deep. It's just some random thing, It's just generally not hygienic to play with your body without washing your hands. And I personally, hygienically very, completely accept me playing with my body than eat, because like, people even eat another person's pubic, like, people suck dicks, people eat pussies. Why should I wash my own hands after playing? Not like playing with my pussy, but just my pubic hair. Well, other people literally eat from the source of the dirtiness of any pubic hair. Well, I just play with the pubic hair, which is much lighter. But actually, I completely am fine if I ever play with my pussy and then I use the same hand to eat. I feel completely fine, and it's not something that I do, but I think it's totally fine. Why do I find it so unacceptable to pluck my pubic hair? And because I think this act just makes me feel so ugly about myself. I pluck the hair. Is that the right word to say? I literally just pull. Okay, the right way to say is I pull the hair to see if any one of them falls. If they fall, I collect them, and then it takes me about 10 minutes to just pull the whole area, the complete pubic area of my body, to not miss any part of it, and then collect about 10 hairs. And I throw them together. And then I think this thing that I do just makes me feel so ugly about myself. I'm so ugly because I'm so sure that nobody does this. Literally, I never heard of this. And I surf the internet every fucking single day. I don't see anybody say that they do this. Well, I've seen people doing more ugly, dirty things. Why personal hygienic is such an important thing to me to judge. Why do I judge myself so heavily on personal hygiene? Why am I so ashamed of my own personal hygiene? I think I'm so dirty. I'm a dirty person that when I cook for other people, for example, I literally go out of my way to make sure that the food is clean of my own dirtiness. For example, if I'm cooking and then I cooking with my hands and then I touched my face with my hands, I have to wash my hands before I continue because I am so ashamed of my own dirtiness that I wouldn't let the person that I'm serving the food to eat, touch any of that, or I just feel so ashamed. I feel like everybody else is so much more clean than me. Like other people can cook their food, they touch their face without washing their hands. It's fine for me, even because I feel like they're more clean than me. I am dirtier than other people. Is that true? Well, for me, it is true because, well, maybe because I don't see them. I don't live in their body. I don't know what they do with their body. If I did live in their body, I can see them picking up their nose. I can see them playing with their dick or scratch their butt. But I still, in my head, I don't believe that they do. They are as dirty as me. But then the thing is, are you noticing what we're talking about so far? We're so heavily just talking about everything around the body. The core of my shame, literally, the core of negativity in my life. You know how heavy this term is. The core, the source of all the negativity in my life is all around the physicality, which is so surprising, literally, to me. It's so absurd. But again, but anyway, it is meaningful because it's the core, even if no matter how shallow it is. Let's just keep on talking about it. I feel my face is so ugly that sometimes when I look at my face in the mirror, I want to kill myself. So this belief is ugly people are less worthy than not ugly people, to such an extent that uglier people deserve to die. Deserve more to die than good-looking people. Literally, that's what I feel. When I look at prettier people, I think they deserve luxurious houses. They deserve very good food. But me, when I look at me and other ugly people, I kind of feel, okay, we deserve a poor environment with a poor food, like more poorly looking food. And in my head, um, there's the beautiful and the ugly. The beautiful people are the kind, the deserving people that wear clean and beautifully designed clothes, or not necessarily expensive, but they live in very nice surroundings, very cute and nice surroundings, eating very cute and nice, not heavy food. They're literally like fairies, very beautiful fairies. They're gods. And ugly people like me and other people, we just deserve to live in a life that we don't like. Live in a life that is tough and rough and nothing sophisticated. Everything as ugly as ourselves, our appearance. And so also, prettier people, they can get away with anything they do. They're not ugly. They're never ugly. They look pretty. They eat pretty. They move pretty. Whatever they do, it all looks pretty. But for ugly people need to really do the best things in the world in order not to look ugly. So anything that I do with my body is all ugly. Just even playing with my pubic hair, picking up my nose, having some, or picking up my teeth, which I don't do because that's just something I can't accept. Even doing it myself, I can't literally stand picking up my teeth. I just think it's just something so embarrassing, incredible, that I wouldn't even do it when I'm alone to myself. And I also, I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I speak. I don't like how I sound. I feel embarrassed when I dance to the music, or if I want to vibe a little bit to the music when I'm alone. If I do it, if I shake my body or my head a little, I feel extremely embarrassed. Why? Why? Why do I think so? Even when I play a video game where the characters, they are like, there's this move they would make when they're happy. They would move their body in a certain way and repeatedly, and I find that extremely embarrassing. And what is behind this? Doesn't matter if they're pretty or not. In this case, what is behind this? Well, in the culture, at least, literally in the culture, the whole national culture that brought me up, it is not allowed. You're not allowed to to be physical. You're not allowed to dance. Dancing only are for performers. Normal people don't dance. Normal people sit quietly. When they're happy, they just smile, laugh. They celebrate it by eating, not by dancing. You don't dance. Dancing, but then why is dancing? Okay, dancing is not acceptable. Dancing is not acceptable. Dancing is stupid. Where does that come from? Maybe, just maybe, when I was a kid. When you're children, you definitely dance. When you're happy, you jump upside down. You kind of shake your butt a little. Maybe, just maybe, when I was a kid, I did that, and I was scolded every single time I did it. But I don't have any memory of it. And I remember when I was a kid, I was not one of those naughty children. I was a good student in school, even from first grade. Especially from first grade, I was just top of the class. Very, very typical traditional Asian culture where you start from first grade being top of the class, which is really important, which is even more important nowadays, which is just ridiculous. Because I was really a top student in class, and also my family didn't really care about it. They didn't really care about it, and I was just fine. I was a top 3. It was good enough. The worst time was when I dropped to the 6th of the class. That felt like so terrible. But because I was only second grade and second or third grade, yeah. And thankfully, soon after that, I changed school, and everything started over with a brand new family and everything, new students, new classmates. But then I'm still trying to get, where does this thought come from? That dancing to music is stupid. It's not just not acceptable, but actually stupid thing. Not just when I do it, when I see other people do it, it's just incredibly stupid. I want to punch, I want to do everything to stop it. I feel so unease when I see people dance to music. But it's really funny when I see people that completely forget about themselves when they dance. They completely don't care about other people when they dance. No matter if it's a good dancing or not. As long as they look like they don't care at all, then I don't find that embarrassing at all. As long as when I look at a person dancing to the music, and when I catch some trace or the possibility that they might be caring about what other people thinking about them, or they might be thinking about themselves a little, immediately, I'm so sensitive, incredibly sensitive to this. If I feel a sign, or can I feel, or it's not all the time. Sometimes I saw a video where this person's playing the piano, and there's another woman from the audience coming up and just started to dance. In a way, yeah, because she looked kind of awkward. So yeah, as long as a person looks awkward when they dance, I immediately feel extremely repulsive. As long as a person looks kind of self-conscious, I remember the other time when I was on a date with a guy, and I think he was nervous with me because I think he liked me, and he was shaking his head a little to the music, and I found that extremely unbearably embarrassing. Well, obviously I didn't say it or express this in any way, but I just felt so incredibly repulsive to that, and I would never do that myself. Whenever I do that, even I can do it now, I start to feel the same. I do it. Okay, what do I feel? I feel very. Okay, let me just see what I feel. Da 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 da. What exactly is that I feel? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I don't know. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I find it so embarrassing. It's a very complicated feeling. It's just embarrassing, when I do it. And I feel very stupid. I feel judged when I do it. Well, I feel judged perfectly when I'm alone. I can feel judged. I really need to go to bed because it's really late today because of the cockroach thing. And now I'm doing this, and because of that, I didn't dare to go to sleep. It's not dead. It's still there. I don't know if it's dead. Thankfully, it's a small one. It's a very small one. Newborn baby. And so, happy birthday to you. If I try to do this in front of other people. Well, that's a little impossible for me to do because I feel so embarrassed, even doing it on myself. It's impossible for me to do this, shaking my head to the beat of the music, the rhythm of the music in front of other people. It's impossible because I can't even do it when I'm alone because I feel so judged. I feel judged. I feel the judgment would be that looks absolutely stupid. That looks not just silly. Silly is a very neutral word, but stupid looks like stupid. It makes me look like a piece of shit. Literally. That's what I feel like. That makes me look like a piece of shit. Shaking my head too. That's very ridiculous. I don't know where it comes from, why? Why do I think so? Why? It's very mysterious. Why do I think shaking my body, following the rhythm, the music, makes me feel like a piece of shit? Makes everybody look like a piece of shit. Literally. I'm trying to attack this because there's a dissonance created in me. There's too much freedom in here, too much unbound freedom in following the music, shaking your body a little. I don't know. Help me. Maybe I should do it more often to figure out exactly what it is that I'm feeling. It's very embarrassing. It's just very great embarrassment. Great embarrassment when I do it. Let's just do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, I feel fear. I feel the fear of being killed. I felt it because in my head I was trying to imagine that I was doing it in front of other people, and I have this fear of being killed because I'm so ugly, so worthless. I look so incredibly annoying and ugly, worthless. Oh my god. That I kind of feel like they want to kill me. Why? Oh, maybe because I feel like I don't deserve. Yeah, maybe because I'm too ugly that I don't deserve to be this easy. This is too easy. Wait, it feels so easy, and I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to move my body to the music because I'm so ugly, and so does everybody that I think look as ugly as I am. They don't deserve to move their body this way. If it's a person that is extremely good looking, let's say, perfect body, perfect face, and moving their fucking body to the music, I can imagine that on that, and I feel less repulsive towards them. Yes. Oh man. I'm moving my body to the music. That's not something I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to stand still and feel pathetic. That's what I deserve to do. I don't deserve to appreciate the music. Also, I hate myself when I really go and, when I see, for example, let me just describe it very clearly and in details to you. When I see, for example, a food that I really want to eat, or when I order some food that I really, really want to eat, and when it's in front of me, if I'm not really hungry enough, but I really feel like eating the food because it looks so good, and I really, really hurry, and for example, it's kept in a bag, and I really hurry and then open the bag and take out the food and take off the lid and then take out the spoon and everything. The whole process makes me feel extremely, extremely like a piece of shit. Because I feel like an animal. Because there's just sound in me, there's feeling in me. It's not even a sound, it's not even a voice saying it. It's just a feeling in me. And for me to translate this feeling to you, I need to use words. And the words would be like, okay, why are you like a fucking animal? Why do you desire food so much? That's so fucking ugly. That is literally not acceptable. So I judge myself this way. I also judge other people the same way. If I see a person hurrying around good food, if it's not out of literal starvation, if they just hurry just because the food looks too good and they can't wait to have it, and that just makes me feel disgusted. Piece of shit. Piece of shit in English is the word that I use, that I personally think is the worst insult you can give to a person. You're fucking piece of shit. Okay, fucking piece of shit if I hurry for food. But the thing is, I can't change my hurry for food. It's spontaneous. It's visceral. When I see good food, I hurry for it. I can't stop it. It's something that's inherent. It's not that I because I think it's disgusting and I wouldn't have this urge anymore. I haven't, just as usual. So of course I am an ugly person to me. And where does this come from? I really have been wondering, where the fuck does this come from? This urge for food being not acceptable. This hurry for good food, Look, let me just do it and see what I feel, Like, imagine this food. I can't wait to eat it. I can't wait to eat it. Okay. The same feeling. I feel like I deserve to be killed if I do this in front of another person, or if I literally just don't hide any of this urge. If I express every single bit of it completely, it would be, I want this food. I want to eat it. Put it in my mouth. And that makes me feel very, very, very sad. Because if somebody's there, I literally genuinely believe that they would want to kill me. Because I am, because, okay, let's see what I feel when I see somebody doing this in front of me. I see a person open up food. Actually, it depends on, I think it's just, I think this thing is more on me, on myself. It's more of a self-judgment when I try to imagine other people. Well, I see it all the time in videos, or in movies where people just hurry for food, and that doesn't really make me feel bad. But only when I do it myself, I feel extremely repulsive. These are the right words to use here. I feel so even disgusted by this thing that I do. Why? You're not an animal. You don't have to. Like, I'm having this huge urge for delicious food when I'm not genuinely hungry. So the exception to this is I don't feel this disgust when I am genuinely really physically hungry and I hurry for food. I don't judge myself in this case. But if I'm anything less than genuinely really hungry and I hurry for food because I really like it, I always experience shame, consciously or unconsciously. Why? Where does this come from? It doesn't come from my family, because they are foodie, they eat. They never scold you for eating. I've never been scolded for eating too much or for hurrying for food. But actually, I just remember one thing. I was scolded for asking for wanting to eat. You know, when I was a kid, I was completely carefree around food. You know, I don't remember. I just remember this. I never forget this. One night I was just jokingly saying, I want to eat cookies. But because I was already late, time for bed, and I already brushed my teeth, and my grandma heard it, I didn't even mean it. I was just jokingly saying it. I was like 6, 7, 8 at most. I think it was 7. And she just like literally slapped me on the shoulder. Well, she would beat me back then. She slapped like kind of hurt because I said I wanted cookies. And then I said back to her that I didn't mean it angrily. I said angrily. I didn't mean it. I was just joking. And then she smiled. She laughed like an embarrassment because she thought I meant it. I remember this forever. But then I don't remember any. When I was a kid, I was never restricted on food. You know, there was always other. You know, I don't remember anything that would make me feel. Actually, I never experienced this disgust until when I wanted to become a vegetarian when I was 16. I wanted to become a vegetarian because I don't know where this thought came from, but it came because all of a sudden I felt like it's like I'm cutting myself off from nature if I eat meat because animals are killed. But I don't want to eat animals because I want to get closer to nature because it's not natural to eat meat. To me, I believed it, so I just cut from eating meat because I'm a carnivore. I love meat. And I was surrounded by this meat eating culture. It was really difficult for me to not eat meat because I got temptation every single fucking day. I wanted to eat meat, to be fair, generally. If I really got to choose, because I just decided that I didn't want any meat at all. So even if I got a dish with meat in it, I would literally pick them all up and threw them away on the table and just eat the rest of it. But at the same time, as I was doing it, I was picking up meat out of my bowl. I would kind of wish that I would miss some pieces because I wanted it. And also, you know, I felt so incredibly ashamed for doing that. I feel so incredibly ashamed. I remember there was this dish, just a rice noodles dish for breakfast, where it's necessary to add a big spoon of a sauce made of meat, and because I didn't want meat, so I asked the cook to not give me meat, but just give me the oil that soaked the meat. And I felt incredibly ashamed of that, but I completely suppressed that feeling. I remembered every time I did it, I asked for, because I knew very clearly that that oil also is from the animal. But because it was so good that I must have it, and also I was already rejecting the meat, so I had to have the oil. But at the same time, I felt so fucking ashamed of it, ashamed of myself, and I completely suppressed. I never expressed that feeling or recognized that feeling anyway, and because it was so prominent. It was not neglectable that I remembered it clearly today when I look back. Every single time I did this, every single time I ordered that dish, I felt shame. And I would, maybe that's how it started. Around food, I think exactly after I started, you know, the last 2 years of my high school life. So when I don't know where I completely forgot where this thought came that I shouldn't eat meat. 'Cause back then I hadn't even watched any documentary on animal products. I had no idea. It literally was just this thought that eating meat was not natural. I don't even know where they came from, where that thought even came from. I don't remember reading it in any book. I didn't read it. I didn't see if, all people all around me, they were not nobody, there was not a single vegetarian in my whole braining up environment. Nobody was a vegetarian. It wasn't even a thing at all. I probably haven't even, I only heard of the word vegetarian. I didn't even know exactly what it meant. But I just decided that I didn't want meat. I don't know what made me decide that way. I don't know exactly. I have no idea. Literally, you've asked me why I just quit eating meat. I have no idea. I just quit, and I felt that it was necessary. And so that's I think for me, that's where as far as I know, that's where the shame around food all started. When I started to literally experience any shame at all around food, and it lasted all the way until today. Even after I quit eating, being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian literally, or a fake vegetarian, because I still, like I said, I would just sneak some animal body products every now and then in a very sneaky and ashamed way. And then after 2 years I've been like that, and after I graduated from high school I started eating meat again. And all the way until today, like a few months ago, I decided that I didn't want to eat meat anymore again. Because I remember the documentary that I saw about animals, and I just can't. It's just disgusting when I see meat. I mean, I still want to eat meat, but at the same time, it's a very, very conflicted, complex thing about meat. I want meat because I've been eating meat all my life for 20 years, and 20 plus years, and then I'm so used to it, first of all. I'm so used to meat, and I enjoy it. I enjoy meat, but at the same time, this new thought, new idea that is so clearly, completely undeniable, that they are from tortured animals, which I deeply love. I love the animals. I want them to be well. I do not want them to be tortured. I don't want to eat their bodies that come from torturing, or from death at all. I don't want anything murdered just for me to eat. And especially, it's not necessary for any human being to eat meat anymore. And especially that eating meat is actually a major cause for all the illnesses that we experience. Eating meat. So I just stopped eating meat. Well, I'm not a vegetarian. I still eat meat and products, but at a minimum level, I still do, because I just can't quit it completely because I enjoy it too much. And so whenever I eat meat, I have to just try to not think about it, or I would feel disgust if I really think about what I'm eating. I have to kind of be numb when I'm doing it. Well, that sounds really, really tough. But I'm so used to eating meat. Even eating meat is like ingrained in my subconscious, that it's like eating is one of the standards to see if you're living a good life. If you're living a good enough life. Literally, that is in the culture. I think it's a worldwide culture that, people, when they are celebrating, when it's a major holiday, for example, they eat meat to celebrate, right? When it's, for example, a Thanksgiving Day, for example, a baked turkey, or Christmas Day, a whole table evening dinner, a whole table of all kinds of meat, I suppose. It's still meat. It's such a huge part of our culture, and my culture, my personal culture as well. because I was brought up in this on this planet, obviously, and so what are we talking about? We're talking about this shame in me about food, around food, and so when I but then this shame is not all about animal products. Now it's about all the food that I eat, no matter it's vegetarian or not. As long as when I'm not hungry and I hurry for it, I feel this urge to have it immediately as soon as possible. For example, when my food got delivered to my door, I just can't wait to grab the bag and open it, and the whole process I hurry, and this hurry makes me feel so ugly. I feel so disgusted. A part of me is so disgusted by me hurrying to get food when I'm not hungry. If I am genuinely really hungry, then that part of me is quiet. It doesn't say a thing. It doesn't judge. As long as I'm just a little hungry, not really hungry, and I hurry for food just because I want to eat it, not because I need to eat it. And this judge immediately shows up and says, it makes me feel ugly. I feel so ugly, it doesn't need to say a thing. It's I just feel ugly, Why? I hurry for food because I can't wait to get it inside my body. I can't wait to swallow it down my throat and fill my body with it. Not just the taste, but I want to be filled. Like having sex, you want to be fulfilled. It's the same. But when I'm sexually aroused, I don't feel shame. Or actually, I do. I do. Yeah. I do. Just the same. I feel extremely ashamed when I masturbate. Extreme shame. Like, not extreme, just normal level of shame that I experience, which is a great amount. The ugliness that I feel I am ugly, it's all about shame. It's just shame. Nothing but shame. Shame is feeling less than, feeling not worthy to live. If you feel you're not worthy, you literally worry that everybody's gonna want to kill you. That's what you feel when you experience shame. You feel this world is a dangerous place. Why? Because you think, because you so deeply believe that you don't deserve to exist. So then you naturally think that everybody wants to kill you, wants to harm you. And the worst is going to happen to you. And that's why you have a lot of fears you can't trust. And that's literally me. I'm an extremely insecure. That's the surface of it. The core of it is just, I can't believe that it's all about my body. And it's all about, even this food thing is still about my body, right? It's just a physical thing, food. I eat food. For me, this part of me that judges, I'm supposed to live like a monk, like a fucking monk. Maybe it's something from my past life, maybe, and it was activated when I was in the last 2 years of my high school. Maybe in the last life I was a monk, and I was extremely judged for not being able to resist the temptation of food, because being a monk, you have to be really clear. You have to be clear from all physical temptations such as sex and food, right? As a monk, you're supposed to eat very simple and not have sex at all. You're not supposed to get any pleasure out of sex or food. Because I can't explain this using any of my present life experience. I've never been ashamed around food by anybody, not by my culture, not by my family, just by myself. And I don't know where this comes from me, because I didn't get it from anywhere from any book or anything. It just suddenly arose in me at that age, and suddenly I just decided I wanted to be a vegetarian. And all of a sudden I started to have all the shame around food, and not just about non-vegetarian food, but about all food. As long as I feel like I have the urge, I want to eat food, I literally feel this filthy desire for food when I'm not supposed to, which is when I'm not really hungry. I feel so fucking ashamed. I feel so dirty. It might be something from a past life or whatever the fuck it is. Then, I could be a monk, which I don't really understand. I'm gonna be a fucking monk. A past life. That's the only thing. It doesn't really matter. So, maybe I don't need to figure it out why I'm having this. I just need to see it. Okay, I have shame around food because in my head I believe I shouldn't. How should I be with food? I should only eat when I'm really hungry. And I should eat simple. I shouldn't get pleasure out of just eating. I shouldn't get pleasure out of masturbating. When I say this, I feel literally shake. I shake because I'm really genuinely afraid. Genuinely feeling unworthy. Genuinely feel like this world is a dangerous place, that I can't be as exposed that I am trying to be now. And if I am so exposed, if something's gonna get me, I have to have some protection around me, or I will be got. I can't get away with all this ugliness. I'm a really ugly, no. An ugly person, an ugly soul, and a worthy soul. I mean, intellectually, I know I'm not. But empirically, yes, that's my experience. I experience it all eras of my life. I started to feel ashamed of my appearance as early as when I was 10. Let's think about the very first time I felt literally ashamed of my physical appearance. Was when I was in 5th grade. Yeah, I think the very first time was about my leg. I think they were too thick. Because, when you were young, many people, kids' legs really skinny. I wasn't the skinniest. I was skinny, but wasn't the skinniest. And so I felt kind of... I fucking need to go to sleep now, shit. But I want to finish doing this, but at the same time, I need to fucking go to sleep because it's 5 o'clock. Shit, I will continue do this tomorrow.